December 2025 did not arrive loudly for Jungkook. There were no surprise album drops, no stadium announcements, no dramatic press conferences, and yet, for those paying close attention, this December quietly marked one of the most important turning points of his entire career. After completing mandatory military service and re-entering public life, Jungkook found himself standing at a rare crossroads. Not as a teenage prodigy, not merely as BTS's youngest member, and not only as a chart-topping solo artist, but as a fully formed global figure navigating a new phase of visibility, responsibility, and identity. This month was not about one headline, it was about what all the headlines together revealed. When Jungkook completed his military service, expectations were immense. For most artists, military discharge marks a return. For Jungkook, it marked a redefinition. The public no longer viewed him through the lens of potential, but through the lens of legacy already built and questions about what comes next. December 2025 became the month where that question subtly began to answer itself. One of the most striking realities of December 2025 was this: Jungkook dominated global headlines without releasing new music. Instead, his presence came through international magazine covers, major fashion partnerships, television appearances, cultural conversations about fame, privacy, and post-military life. This shift signaled something crucial. Jungkook was no longer just promoting. He was positioning. Early December brought confirmation that Jungkook would appear on Rolling Stone covers across Korea, the United Kingdom, and Japan. This was not a routine editorial decision. Rolling Stone does not merely document popularity, it documents cultural relevance. For Jungkook, the feature positioned him not only as a K-pop idol, not only as a solo chart force, but as a global pop figure whose influence transcends genre and geography. The timing mattered. This was his first major global magazine project post military service, and it framed him not as someone returning, but as someone arriving at a new level. Perhaps the clearest signal of Jungkook's new era came with his official appointment as global brand ambassador for Chanel Beauty. Chanel does not chase trends, it selects symbols. By choosing Jungkook, Chanel aligned itself with generational influence, cross-cultural reach, emotional connection rather than loud branding. For Jungkook, the partnership confirmed what industry insiders already knew. His appeal now extends far beyond music charts. This was not a temporary endorsement, it was a long-term positioning move, one that placed Jungkook among a rare group of artists whose image carries equal weight in music, fashion, and global branding. While fashion and magazines reflected prestige, television reflected humanity. The return of Are You Sure? Season 2 alongside Jimin allowed audiences to see a version of Jungkook untouched by stage lighting or scripted performances. Here, he appeared relaxed, had introspective, playful, yet noticeably more grounded. Viewers noted subtle changes. Quieter humor, more deliberate speech, moments of reflection about time, growth, and uncertainty. It was not dramatic, and that was precisely the point. This Jungkook was not trying to reintroduce himself. He was simply existing on screen as someone who has lived more life. No discussion of December 2025 can avoid the surge of speculation surrounding Jungkook's private life. Rumors involving Espace Winter dominated online spaces, sparking debates across fandoms, social platforms, and media outlets. What stood out, however, was not the rumor itself, but how Jungkook responded. He did not respond at all. And statements, and denials, and emotional appeals. In a culture where silence is often interpreted as weakness, Jungkook's silence read differently. It read as control. Earlier in his career, Jungkook existed within systems that responded for him: agencies, group structures, public relations strategies. December 2025 showed a different dynamic. This time, silence was not avoidancy, it was boundary setting. The public reaction exposed something else as well: a growing conversation about how much access fans believe they are entitled to. Jungkook became, unwillingly, the center of a broader cultural reckoning. International media coverage in December increasingly framed Jungkook not as a scandal subject, but as a case study. Articles began asking, can global idols claim privacy without backlash? What does maturity look like in a fandom built on intimacy? How does an artist evolve when the world refuses to let go of the version they fell in love with? In this sense, Jungkook was no longer just being covered, he was being analyzed. December 2025 also marked the reality that all BTS members had completed military service, though no official comeback announcements were made. The psychological shift was undeniable. For Jungkook, this meant something complex. Freedom from hiatus, renewed group identity, and the challenge of balancing solo momentum with collective legacy. His December activities suggested preparation rather than performance. Traditionally, K-pop comebacks are loud. December 2025 redefined that concept. Jungkook's comeback was strategic measure, deeply aware of timing rather than flooding the market. He re-entered the global conversation slowly, allowing curiosity to rebuild naturally. This approach signaled confidence, not urgency. Fans noticed something else as well. Jungkook no longer appeared eager to be understood. Instead, he seemed comfortable being partially unknowable. This shift, subtle but powerful, marked his transition from idol to artist-figure. An artist does not need to explain everything. An artist lets the work, the choices, and the silence speak. Looking back, December 2025 may not be remembered for a single viral moment. It will be remembered as the month Jungkook reclaimed narrative control, the month he re-entered fame on his own terms, the month the world realized he was no longer evolving. He had arrived. This was not the end of a chapter. It was the quiet beginning of a far larger one. To the casual observer, December 2025 may have looked quiet, but within the global entertainment industry, Jungkook's movements were read very differently. Executives, brand strategists, and media editors did not see inactivity. They saw intentional restraint, one of the most valuable signals of long-term power. By pop culture, silence is only effective when it comes from someone the world is already watching, and the world, undeniably, was watching Jungkook. In earlier eras of K-pop, idols were treated as high-output performers, valuable but replaceable. Jungkook no longer fits that category. By December 2025, industry insiders increasingly referred to him not as a performer, but as a global asset. This distinction matters. A performer promotes products. A global asset redefines the product's meaning. Chanel Beauty's decision to align with Jungkook was not about visibility alone. It was about cultural alignment. Luxury houses rarely make impulsive ambassador decisions. They study demographic longevity, emotional attachment, cross-generational appeal, narrative stability. Jungkook scored unusually high across all categories. His audiences, young, but aging with him, globally distributed, emotionally loyal rather than trend-driven. In December 2025, Jungkook's value lay not in viral spikes, but in sustained relevance. That is the currency luxury brands protect most fiercely. Jungkook's influence operates largely through soft power. He does not provoke outrage. He does not dominate through controversy. He rarely makes declarative statements. Instead, his presence shifts perception quietly. A single appearance can redirect fashion trends, revive catalogs, streaming, alter brand sentiment, reignite global discourse. This form of power is difficult to manufacture and nearly impossible to replace. The tone of media coverage around Jungkook in December 2025 revealed another evolution. Earlier headlines focused on performance metric chart rankings, fan-driven milestones. Now, coverage leaned toward cultural analysis, personal agent, style identity. This shift placed Jungkook closer to artists like Harry Styles or Beyoncé, figures discussed not merely for output, but for what they represent in culture.